Good morning guys and girls, and welcome back to another video, and today is Wednesday Weekly Gold episode 37. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so let's get down to this. These are the 5 types of raids that you should be farming in order to make some decent extra gold every week. So that being the case, let's get into the farms. Okay, so number 1 on our list is the Siege of ORGRIMMAR, and this one mainly drops 4 battle pets, and they all sell for a relatively decent amount of gold. The highest one is the droplet of QIRAJ on my realm at this moment in time, but I would recommend that you double check your auction houses for these types of battle pets. You can find them all in Wowhead, and they're pretty much, they're actually not that bad. I've got all 4 of them, but I don't actually want to sell them because I've kept them, because some of them were like really hard to get a hold of, and the drop rates vary. Not that much, but they do vary somewhat. And all that you really need to do is just go in there and pretty much blast it. You can go over to the Lawwalker's place in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms and queue for the specific areas in order to farm it more effectively and be able to just blast through it, see if you got the battle pets, move on to the next raid. So that being the case, let's move on to the next raid. The next raid is on our list is the AQ farm, and that is the one with Cthulhu, and obviously the ones that you're going to be wanting to farm up is not the Mini Mind Slayer. The Mini Mind Slayer, do not even bother with, because that is just such a easily obtainable battle pet creature. But the next thing that I would recommend that you actually farm is the Viscidus Globule, as this ranges from about 10k to like 15k, depending on your realm, so double check it, because this does take a little bit of setup to actually do in order to do this effectively. The most common method that I use to actually farm the Viscidus Globule is by actually using Elemental Force on a crappy sword or dagger. You can get away with your skinning knife, but would recommend that you just grab something with like a decent amount of hit rate, because you're going to be wanting to proc the Elemental Force to actually be able to freeze Viscidus and then use some physical attacks in order to actually smash him in order to kill him. Now Mad Season did a video on this like a while back for all classes, so I do recommend that you go check that one out, because he goes quite in depth, a lot more in depth than I do, because I really just farm it on my melee classes because it's just easier for me to do, and I like to just blast through other things as well at the exact same time. And mainly Viscidus, easy to kill if you've got like Elemental Force or that massive puffer thing from Christmas that does frozen attacks as well. It does like I think it's like a couple of bits of damage, but it's nothing worthwhile, it literally just to freeze him. But that being the case, Viscidus Globule is a good one to farm up because it's actually relatively harder to actually obtain than most. It does have a 10% drop chance on that battle pet specifically, and then we'll be moving on to this next one, which is the Anubish Idol, which is from the twins in the Cthulhu layer. And pretty much what you're going to be wanting to do is just kill the guy. So if you're a spellcaster, you aim for the the actual spellcaster guy, and then if you're melee, I believe that you attack. Basically, when you go in there, attack one of the twins. If you don't do any damage to him, go to the other one. You're high enough level to not die. If you aren't, then I suggest that you level up, so go check out my leveling guide. But that being the case, let's get on to the next farm. Farm is the Throne of Thunder, and this one's a great one to get to actually just because you get a decent amount of raw gold, you get a lot of Zandalari Transmog, which I love. It sells. It sells so well on my realm, so I love doing this farm. The battle pets that you actually get in this are actually worth quite a bit, and you can get some real cool money for it, because they go for like stupid amounts of gold on my realm and on the EU. I'm not so sure on the US, but damn guys, the battle pets from the Throne of Thunder are well worth your time. You can average from around about 1,000 to 1,300 raw gold just by selling all of the crap, but I like to run it through with my enchanter and disenchant everything and sell the mats, because I seem to get more money that way. But that being the case, that is the Throne of Thunder. It's relatively easy to do. You just got to not die, because there is a couple of kill mechanics in there, so I would recommend that you, if you haven't done it before, that you go look up the specific bosses that actually do one-shot you. Because if you die, then you're going to have to redo it again, and most chances are you will die again because you don't know the mechanics. So double check your mechanics before you actually do this farm, but all in all, it's a relatively easy raid to actually run through. Next raid that I would suggest that you actually farm on a weekly basis is the Wrath of the Lich King Ice Crown Citadel raid, because mainly if you do it on 25-man heroic, you can get hold of the invincible mount, which I have. It took me forever, but I got it. But that's not the thing that we're actually farming it for. We're actually farming it mainly for the battle pets, and I think you're finding a little bit of a trend, because battle pets actually sell for a lot, obviously. And the one specifically that you should really be farming is the Drudge Ghoul, because the Drudge Ghoul is absolutely awesome to farm up, and it sells for around about 50 to 60k. I have seen it as low as like 30k on some realms, and then on some Russian servers they're on like for 9k, and I'm just like, should I just sell a TCG pet on that realm and just buy all of them, because there's like 40 of them up, and I'm just like, should I do it? But that being the case, the Drudge Ghoul is a really good one to get a hold of. It makes a lot of gold. Your raw gold will pretty much be around about 700 gold just from raw gold, but if you bring an enchanter yet again, disenchant all of those greens and all of those blues and all those epics, you'll be able to get a decent amount of gold, a lot more than just the raw gold that you would actually find from that raid. But that being the case, the Wrath of the Lich King, the only one you really need to be just a bit like, just need to know, you can skip the life boss, the green dragon that enters the dream, so you can not heal her and then win that batch. You're just not going to get any loot. You just run straight past her and pretty much just jump down, and you just go and fight Sindragosa that way. But if you do, you'll get some epics, but there's nothing really worthwhile, so I usually just skip her because it's just tedious for me to do. But that being the case, there isn't many bosses that will actually give you any hard time, because it's relatively easy to do, and at level 120, you're just going to blast it, guys. You're just going to blast through it. It's like, you're blasting through it at like 110, so now it's just like one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, and that's pretty good. And finally, on our raids of farming is the Ulduar raid, and I have something to say. Bring an engineer. Just bring an engineer, because a couple of the bosses you can actually use your engineering on to scrap, and you'll be able to get like a load of Eternal Shadows, learn of Eternal Fires, like Cobalt Bolts and all that jazz and all that stuff that you need to make your Mechanized Chopper. You can do that, and I think someone actually mentioned this in one of my comments of the Mechanized Chopper breakdown video. But yeah, you can use that. I think that's on the Flame Leviathan and the XT guy boss, the guy that goes boom boom boom. I remember actually having a hard time with him when we were actually raiding Ulduar for the very first time. But that being the case, Ulduar is relatively easy to do, and the one thing that I would recommend is the battle pets. The battle pets in this raid are plentiful. You've got tons. And when I mean tons, you've got tons of battle pets you can get a hold of. You can do this raid, and I can near on guarantee you a battle pet that will sell for about 9k or anywhere between that. So you're obviously going to make a decent amount of gold. Along with that, you will make roughly around about 1,000 gold of raw gold. And yet again, if you do bring an enchanter as well as an engineer, so enchanting and engineering, you will be able to gain a lot of enchanting mats, which then you can sell on the auction house, because infinite dust sells for tons, because it's used in a lot of different types of recipes for the Wrath of the Lich King expansion of just crafting in general. So that being the case, I do find that this is a really good farm to actually do, and I pretty much would say that Ulduar is probably one of the best farms that you should do weekly, because the battle pets and the engineering mats and everything it's just a plentiful farm to do. The only thing that does take a lot of time, well, does take a considerable amount of time, is the Flame Leviathan, but that's not a problem, because at the end of the day, Flame Leviathan, you bring your engineer, you get a load of mats as well as being able to just kill him. But that being the case, guys, that is Wednesday Weekly Gold, episode 37, of what type of raids you should specifically be farming every week on a regular basis. Mainly for some extra gold, because they don't all take that much time to actually do. You can pretty much blast most of these in about 20 minutes or so. Now, I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more like this, please feel free to give this video a like. And as always, have an awesome day, guys.
Yeah.